This quote was said by Aileen Carol Wuornos moments before she was put to death by lethal injection on October 9, 2002, making her the 10th woman executed in the U.S. Before we get to the reason why she was put to death, we must first start at the beginning. When Aileen was born on February 29, 1956, her life was already troubled. Her mother was only 15, and her father was put into a prison for child molestation in 1969, and she also had a brother named Keith. Aileen's mother eventually left the children to the grandparents' care. However, it was no better. Her grandmother was an abusive alcoholic, and her grandfather was both physically and sexually abusive. Having an unstable home life, she also had a troubled school life. Aileen engaged in sexual activities in exchange for drugs and food when she was just 9 years old, and at the age of 14 she became pregnant, claiming Keith was the father. She was taken to a home for unwed mothers until the baby was born. She gave up the baby, but when she soon returned home, she was soon kicked out by her grandfather when her grandmother had died. Aileen ran away from home and hitchhiked to Florida. At that time, she became a prostitute, which allowed her to survive. When she arrived to Florida, she met Louis Fell, and they both married in 1976. However, the marriage ended because Aileen would get into bar fights and was sent to jail for assault. Louis Fell was no good for a wife to display such behaviors, so he annulled the marriage. Aileen had many stressors that could attribute to her criminal lifestyle. Within the year, she got divorced, her brother died from throat cancer, and also she lost her ex-husband's life insurance money of $10,000 on a car she wrecked soon after. For 10 years, she committed a life of prostitution, robbery, and other crimes from forgery to theft and from assault as well. In 1986, Aileen met her future assailant, 24-year-old Tiara Moore. They met at a Dayton gay bar. The two soon began a relationship that lasted for 4 years. Aileen killed a total of 6 male victims. One was suspected, but the body was never found. She would shoot the victims multiple times, each one being different, and leave their bodies naked on the side of the highway. She stole their belongings and took the cars with them. We can say she looked for victims that had some type of transportation and valuable objects present. Aileen's victims were Richard Mallory, David Spears, Dick Humphreys, Walter Antonio, Troy Burris, and Charles Carcassonne. Police got their first break of Aileen when she and Tira wrecked a victim's car. Aileen had her fingerprints all over the interior of the car. She was soon caught when she tried to pawn a victim's item. However, she needed to provide fingerprint identification in order for the exchange. Aileen did, and the police eventually caught up to her. Aileen had a typology of power and control. She fits this typology because she wanted to prove dominance and power and also humiliate the victim. In trial, Aileen tried to claim self-defense. However, the jury didn't believe her, and they found Aileen guilty of first-degree murder. Aileen was put to death on October 9, 2002. A lot could have been done to help Aileen. She could have gotten the proper care when she got kicked out of her grandparents' house, or someone could have intervened when they realized she was being abused. Now we know to watch out for the signs of children being abused and prevent this from happening again.